Welcome back to the channel, guys. I'm going to be going over my Silverwing 2-person hardshell rooftop tent. I'm going to go ahead and tell you how I set this bad boy up, my thoughts about it after a year of using it, and then go ahead and give you some pros and cons of rooftop tents in general. So far, I've already taken this to Colorado, Missouri, and my home state, Arkansas, on a few different trips. I've also had it mounted on my truck the entire time for this past year, and I haven't had any problems with it so far. To set up this tent, it is held down by a few different straps. It has 4 of them located on the front, and that's what you see I'm undoing right now. And then it has 3 of those on the back. Now when you're not filming for a YouTube video, it takes about 2 minutes to fully undo this tent and have it set up. Once you undo all of the straps on the front and the back, they do have some hydraulics in there. So you just lift up on one side and it pops up, and you lift up on the other and it pops up the other side. And when you want to go take it down, you're just going to do the exact opposite of what we've been doing. Instead of popping it up, you'll push one end down, and then you'll push everything in, do the straps, go to the other side, tuck everything in that's sticking out, and do the straps on the back end. Now that does take a little bit longer because you have to start tucking the tent in so it's all under the shell. So I'd say that takes probably about 5 minutes to fully undo. But as you can see, it just pops up by itself. And then I'm going to go ahead, and you can see that little flap that's sticking out. That's just to keep rain out from going inside of the tent. And so you just pull that down all the way around, and it makes sort of like a weatherproof seal. If you had to put me on the spot, I would recommend this tent. Give it about a 4 out of 5 stars. It's more good than bad, definitely. But getting into that, let's go ahead and go over some of the things I really like about this tent. One thing I like about this tent is every wall has some sort of window on it. 2 smaller ones on the ends and 2 larger ones on the sides. These do have bug nets on them, which makes it really convenient so you can let the light in without letting any bugs in. This tent is also extremely easy to mount. It could go up on any roof mount as long as it can support the weight of the tent and the 2 people inside of it. And with your tent being mounted on top of your car, it saves up some space on where you would be storing your tent, if that's either inside of your car or in the back of your bed. I would say one of the top reasons that I like having a rooftop tent is on how high it is. This limits the amount of animals and wildlife that can get into your tent, along with bugs, especially the ones that crawl, so you're less likely to wake up with any surprises. I have slept in hammocks and cots, and this is by far more comfortable. It has a nice padding inside there, especially when you're sleeping by yourself and you can spread out. When you are with someone else, it is a little bit more cramped, but it's still not a bad experience. Of course, one of the biggest convenience of having a rooftop tent is anywhere you can drive, you can camp. So it's really cool. You don't have to worry about finding a good spot to set up a tent. And to me, it makes it more of a fun and a unique experience when camping. Now, I do believe that the good outweighs the bad, but there are some cons, of course. One of the things that you have to watch out for is your clearance height will change. Now, if you have a half rack, you can avoid this, but I have a full rack. Now, it hasn't really affected me too much, but I can't fit inside the garage, which can be a little bit inconvenient during the winter. Now, these are very aerodynamic when they're made, but it still has some drag and some wind resistance, so it may affect your gas mileage a little bit, along with adding another 150 pounds of weight to your car. The biggest inconvenience for me of the rooftop tent is you can set up camp and then have to go into town or something, and you have to completely close it all down, completely close up camp. It's not like a camper where you can just leave that there, then go run and do some errands. It's also pretty compact. I could sit up pretty much fully, but I can't stand up, of course. And so you do have a little bit less space than you would a traditional tent on the ground or a camper. Another thing I really didn't think about until I was using it the first time is once you're already in bed and you have to go to the bathroom, it's inconvenient to have to, get up, especially if you have to move around someone to go down that ladder and to go to the bathroom. So just keep that in mind. Another thing you need to keep in mind is when you're parking, you're going to have to find a spot that's pretty level because the tent is attached to the top of your car. So if you're parked uneven, you'll be at a slanting angle when you're going to bed. Now, these are just some pros and cons that I came up with off the top of my head. feel free to leave some more pros and some more cons in the comments below. That's always going to help the community out in figuring out if this is something that they want to buy in the future. And guys, if you've made it this far in the video, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, like this video, and share it with a friend who's thinking about getting a rooftop tent. So all said and done, I would highly recommend a hardtop rooftop tent. It's treated me well. I've used it on 5 or 6 different trips and have really no complaints. I really do appreciate y'all taking the time to watch this video. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave me those in the comments below, and I'll try to get back to those as soon as I can. That all being said, I hope you'll have a blessed day, and I'll see y'all in the next video.